Hi everybody, it's Book of Katherine. So I told you in my previous videos that the one thing I learned about predicting the Beirut explosion was that I need to speak up. That was my biggest lesson, was that it didn't have anything to do with me. I didn't write any of the predictions, but it was really hard speaking up. I was watching my video where I said, I think this is going to happen in 20, by our calculations between my friends and I, 2020 was the year of this big, I said, nuclear and or chemical explosion that was supposed to happen in the region of Babylon or the Mesopotamian region in the year 2020. And I had a really hard time saying that. You can see that in my video from February. And 6 months later, it happened. And so I said my big lesson from that was to remember to say something. And so today is the day that I went looking back into what we had read to come up to those conclusions. And if you remember, basically the conclusion is that what's happening next is that looters will come to Lebanon. Looters will come to Beirut. And if you saw, all of the doors and windows have been shattered completely apart, if you remember. And those places were really nice apartments. If anyone paid attention, they were apartments where really nice art was kept. And now there are no locks being sold, no electricity, nothing to keep anyone from looting the place, and millions of dollars worth of art, jewelry, furs, paintings, gold, cash. It's just out there for looters to come and take, because the richest people in the world had their homes there because they thought they had a cozy little place there. The Russians were there, the Germans were there, Israelis were there. Everyone was there. I mean, absolutely everyone's there. Italy was there. Rome was there. It had been there for 3,000 years. Everyone was there, and now it's just open for business. Not to mention the fact that Israel just opened its borders with the peace treaty to UAE. And if you take a look at what the UAE is, I mean, those guys, it's all men. Women don't have any rights there. Those men walk around with tigers on their leashes, and they have slaves. They import slaves by the millions to work up and build up those buildings. All their buildings, that their sky rises that get up built so quickly, their slaves just die building them. I mean, they just go through them, like they just buy them and they die off, and they buy more and import them. That's why they did the No Borders Treaty with the UN. I mean, No Borders just helps them build and import slaves so easily. So anyway, now they'll have an easy way to the UAE. Those men can just fly on in and go over. And so I'm going to read you what it says from the actual. This is if you remember. So that's what looting and raping. By the way, it also says raping. It says babies will be smashed on stones. The woman will be raped and bellies will be cut. It's really graphic what it says is coming next. And so I'm going to go ahead and read you what it's Isaiah 13 is where it came from. I'll show you what we actually saw. Chuck Missler has a lot of things on Babylon, and a lot of things we threw out about what Chuck Missler says about Babylon. But then suddenly towards the end there of his life, he started having some things that really checked out. So this is the chart, the destruction of, I don't know if I can get in there, the destruction of Babylon, that destruction of Babylon chart that he had. The very first one, Isaiah 13, we went ahead and checked it out. I was reading it today with my friends, and this is what it says. Thunder rolls off the mountains, which is interesting, and it talks about God of the angel armies. I haven't seen in any of the scripture readings that we've been reading, or the text or the ancient scrolls or whatever they're called in each section. Every community calls them a different thing. It's very interesting. The histories, I've seen them called everything. But whatever they're called, wherever it is, they're never referring to the God of Abraham or whoever Yahweh. They never call him anything, but I see him mostly referred to as Lord. Here in these Babylon things, he's called the God of the angel armies, which is very interesting because we've just come across angels. Isn't that just what we started writing about when we started discovering Enoch and Peter, the Gospel of Peter? And the Gospel Jaharil, if you find that, oh my gosh, the book of Jaharil, I think it's Jaharil. Anyway, I'll read it to you. So it says, Watch now, it says, horrified, everyone they see is like a face out of a nightmare. Watch now, God's judgment day comes. Cruel, cruel it is, a day of wrath and anger, a day to waste the earth and clean out all the sinners. The stars in the sky, a great parade of constellations, ironic that we've just been talking about what those are, will be nothing but black holes. Remember, Mount Hermon is right there in Beirut. Mount Hermon is Mount Zafan, which is where 200 angels supposedly came and gathered together from the constellations, came down and made a pact. Very interesting. So I'll put a full stop to either on earth, terminate the dark acts of the wicked. I'll gag all braggarts and boasters. Let me get down. This is Isaiah 13. It says, people will huddle with a few of their own kind, run off to some makeshift shelter. But, here it is, but tough luck to stragglers. They'll be killed on the spot, throats cut, bellies ripped open, babies smashed on the rocks, while mothers and fathers watch, houses looted, wives raped. And I was like, well, I guess I have to open my mouth and say something, because what this said before actually happened. And the thing is that I wish I could say that that's not going to happen, except what that I said happened before ended up happening. And the bottom line is that rape is actually taught and justified in Islam. And they will come and do that. That is exact men who walk around with tigers like that in their cars and have gold cars or whatever. There's a reason that they have that. There's a reason that they have that. And now watch this. Against Babylon, I'm inciting the Medes, a ruthless bunch of indifferent to bribes. The kind of brutality that no one can blunt. They massacre the young, wantonly kick and kill even babies. And Babylon, most glorious of all kingdoms, the pride and joy of Chaldeans, will end up smoking and stinking like Sodom, and yes, like Gomorrah, when God is finished with them. No one will live there anymore. Generation after generation, a ghost town. Not even Bedouins will pitch their tent there. Shepherds will give it a wide berth, but strange and wild animals will like it just fine, filling the vacant houses with eerie night sounds. Skunks will make it their home, and unspeakable night hags will haunt it. Sounds like the lady who had her big castle there. Hyenas will curdle your blood with their laughing, and the howling of coyotes will give you the shivers. Babylon is doomed. It won't be long now. And the reason it talks about strange animals is that, I mean, these are the people who just got access. Like, the point is that, like, they got these strange animals, like lions, tigers, and bears. These guys, the reason, anyway, so it's a long story, that the UAE just got access to it, and, anyway, I just want to tell you, like, read Isaiah. What I wanted to say was get out. If you are in Lebanon, if you are in Beirut, get out. Get out. If you have family members there, get out. So that's all I can say is just get out. I just took a long time to say everything I was going to say last time, and I don't want to do that this time. My point this time is Lebanon is not going to be rebuilt. Don't believe them. The Beirut blast was like, what, August 4th? August 4th, all the way back. That's more than a month now. If the looting hasn't begun already, they're not going to tell us about it. They didn't tell us that people had only 2 hours of electricity back then. If it hasn't started already, it's going to start soon when the dust settles. But that's thousands of apartments just sitting there open with glass open. They have no windows. They have no doors. The looting will come and the rapists will come. I mean, all those cultures out there in India, in Africa, in Nigeria, all these places teach that women are worth 50% of a man, and also that these cultures and all the ethnic cleansing that happens. I mean, the war is going to be brutal. And like it says, they'll destroy babies, anyway, you heard what it says. My point is, run, get the heck out. So that's what's going to happen next, according to these prophecies. All right. So I hope that helps. All right. Love you. Bye. This is, what is it? September 12th, 2020. I'm doing what I promised I would do, say something. But I said something last time, and it happened. And I was really scared last time. I'm not scared this time. Well, I'm scared of what that said. I just stared at my friends for a while. So I'm going to stop now and get this out. All right, love you. Bye.